So when do you say adios, sayonara to the game? When do you quote unquote settle down? At what point? When do you stick? When do you twist? This is the question, my brothers, to be or not to be, to stick or not to stick, to play or to settle. This is a big question on a lot of guys' minds, and I'm going to dive into it in this video. I'm coming up to 40 years old in a couple of months, so of course this question naturally, of course it arises more as you get into your 30s. When do we settle? Is this the right girl? And on this question, all I can do is share my thoughts, and I can also share what I've seen with other guys as well. I've got a lot of friends who've been through successful marriages, and I have other friends who, frankly, they had very unsuccessful marriages. They got divorced, and they're already on round 2. So I personally feel great that I missed that whole bullshit because it's very stressful. You see it in their faces, it's very difficult. So the first thing I'll say on this question is, you actually don't have to settle down. You don't have to, yeah? It's not necessary. You can have an incredible life on the road, doing whatever you're doing, being the cool uncle, being the cool wingman, being the friend, having loads of friends, loads of adventures, and you can, and achieving a lot as well. You can actually live your entire life like that. That's absolutely feasible, that's absolutely fine. One of my very good friends who's been on my channel before, we will call him, what will we call him? I don't know, but he's in his mid-70s, and he's literally one of the coolest guys I've ever met. He's been married and divorced a few times, and the last 20 years he's not even bothered. He's just gone, you know what, I'm just going to be a free agent from his 50s through his 70s. He's the only man I know who's had a threesome in his 70s. What an absolute G. And yeah, he travels around Asia and so on, so he's got an amazing lifestyle. So of course it can be done, right? If you do lead that kind of lifestyle, I think honestly you need to be someone with more of an intellectual bent naturally. You like to sit around reading, you like to contemplate, you like to go interesting places. From what I've seen, guys who aren't like that, who just get old and lonely, they just end up drinking themselves to death in a lot of cases. So yeah, I think having an intellectual edge to you and developing that, if you're going to be single your whole life, I do think that's the way to go. For me, it's natural anyway, so I've noticed it from being a nomad traveling, because I've always got intellectual, interesting projects going on. My mind can occupy itself. And I think someone else, it wouldn't be healthy for them. Like the nomad lifestyle is definitely not for everybody. Okay, so that's for the people who don't want to settle down. But what about, family, kids and so on? Well, to be honest, you can still also do that without leading a totally settled lifestyle. So for myself, for example, I do have options probably here on this island. I could have a couple of children here, and I could spend 4 months a year, 5 months a year on the island, and the girl's not going to go anywhere. I'm just such a good, interesting option for her. It's not going to be that expensive. It would be fine. And there's lots of countries in the world you can do this. So yeah, you don't even have to, even if you have children, you don't have to live the highly domesticated life. And you can obviously be flexible, so you see how things work out. You might want to. But then for guys who are looking to go down the more traditional route, how do you pick? What the fuck, how are you supposed to pick? Like, what are you picking on? And it's very tricky, because I've seen I think the girl has, first of all, the girl has to be very in love with you for this to work. If you're just kind of like an okay option for the girl, I don't think that's a great place, to be honest. I think the girl should be really in love with you. From what I've seen from guys who've got married where they were more in love than the girl was, it's actually worked out terribly for them. It's worked out very badly for them. So that will be first and foremost. Make sure the girl, whoever she is extremely in love with you. And that should be a given. And you can watch lots of stuff on this channel about that. There's so much content here about, leading, dominance, combined obviously with some sensitivity as well. So you can learn loads about that. It's actually pretty easy to get a girl to fall in love with you, to be honest. They love in a very obsessive way. Women love in a very obsessive way. They're either not interested, this is my life, they're either completely uninterested or pretty distant, or they become completely obsessed. It's rarely been anything in between. I've rarely had anything in between. And it's how women love. It's how women love. They don't love like us. It's much more obsessive, it's much more consuming, or they're just completely uninterested. So you want a girl who is like, she's all about you, basically. So that'll be a fundamental. But then beyond that, a lot of it does depend on your own requirements and your own lifestyle. Like, do you want an intellectual sparring partner as a wife? I personally don't really care about that too much. She has to be somewhat intelligent, but I don't really care about that too much. How good does the sex have to be? How good does her body have to be? Given that you're going to be with this woman for decades, I would suggest it has to be pretty fucking good, to be honest. Yeah, I've gone down the route with girls where I've tried getting with a girl she's still attractive, but she's not this bombastic smoke show. And it normally doesn't work out, to be honest. It normally doesn't work out. So I'd also think on your end, you want to be really attracted to the girl. And if you're not, I think if you're honest with yourself, you're gonna probably be dissatisfied. So high levels of attraction. Other things to think about is the woman's age. As a guy, it's not on you to think about your age, it's on her to think about your age. So I'm coming up to 40, if a 20-year-old wants to date me, it's on her to think about me being, let's say, 80 when she's 60, whether that even makes a difference at that point. It's on her to think about that. It's on me to think about her age. And so if I'm looking for a woman to bear me children, she has to be in her 20s or early 30s. Any older than that is just off the table. I'm not interested at all. So my biology is always dictated. I prefer women in that age group anyway, so that's fine. But that is something to think about as well. And you've got to be logical about this, boys. For all the bullshit, there is no equality in nature. Equality is a completely made up concept. It doesn't exist. It never has existed, and it's completely made up. And there's certainly no equality between male and female reproductive cycles. They do have a much harder deal on reproduction, man. It's basically over for them at 40, and they have to carry the fucking child and birth it through their fucking genitals. So yeah, just think about that, right? So yeah, it's a guys, we can complain it's a hard game for us, and I appreciate it can be, but it's in reality, if a woman is capable of facing what her reality is and not deluding herself, it's a hard game for them as well. And then if they delude themselves, it's very hard when they get older, because they just get old, no one fucking wants them. Or what? It is what it is, so optimistic video here, but I'm trying to keep it real so we can make the right decisions. So those would be just a few factors I would say in terms of consideration. You want a girl who's very much all about you, and you want to really, she has to embody some of the characteristics you value. And crucially, this is the last point I'll make, your girl should be an asset as well. If your girl's too much of a liability, they can be a liability in some areas, like she's pregnant or something, she's going to be a fucking liability. But if she's unpredictable, erratic, drinks too much, does drugs, all of those for me, I don't mention them because they're straight red cards. It just, you're gone. I'm not interested. I don't have the fucking time. I don't have the time. And that's even as a girlfriend, even to date. I can't date someone even remotely for a month or two who are like that. Because if you're dealing with their bullshit, it means you can't focus on what you need to do. So they need to be an asset. They need to actually be helping you in what you need to do. And so yeah, I'm at a point now, there's a girl I'm seeing right now. She's quite an asset to me, actually. The girl I'm seeing right now. So I'm actually taking her quite seriously. I don't know if it will continue, you know, long term into the future. But again, she was well selected. I selected her well the first time out, you know, a couple of years ago, and she's still around, and she's definitely an asset. And there are lots of girls out there who would love to be an asset for a really good guy. So to be honest with you, that's what they're born to do. So just start recruiting them in, start telling them to do stuff for you. Western guys, again, start to embody more leadership. There is no equality in nature. It simply does not exist. She needs a leader. Forget all the bullshit, forget all your professional crap, forget all university shit. Bro, I went through all that stuff to the nth degree. And I realized it was all garbage insofar as relationships and women concerned. So what I tell guys is lead, and actually sometimes command as well. Command from the front. Not obviously, you know, but there are girls who fucking love that, just blunt commanding style, especially like the fucking Russians, Ukrainians, they fucking love that. Even Latinas, they like it as well. So yeah, basically ignore the entire modern world if you want to have a good relationship, and it actually does work. It actually does work. But if you recruit them in, and it's like you're kind of like the gentle tyrant, that's kind of who you are, and they fucking love it. They love it. Now the fact you don't see too many of these relationships exemplified around you is mostly because the men are such pussies in the West, because they've been bred that way for the last 70 years. Nietzsche would say the last 150 years, but it's been going that way. But if you look at really strong guys, the girl with them, however hot she is, whatever, the girl with them is always super happy. Is always super happy to be there, happy to be with them. When you look at these, you know, where it's like this 50-50 bullshit, obviously she has a say, but you have to be you have to be a leader. And by the way, women will always lead you in a direction you don't want to go, by the way. Just in case you have that question in your mind. Am I a misogynist? No, this is nature. This is fucking nature. I'm neither left wing nor right wing. I'm neither a misogynist nor a feminist. I'm simply observant of nature. This is what it is. So hopefully this has been useful to you boys. A little bit on relationships there, relationship dynamics, leadership, how you want to be thinking about the kind of girl you want to bring into your life. If you're interested in my content and you would like to learn more specifically about cold approach, you can sign up below for my 20 email course. It's the most in-depth written guide on cold approach, currently available on the internet, which took me a little time this summer to write, and I think you'll find it very useful. If you already know, you want me in your life, my friend, you want me as the wing bro for you, and you're interested in one of my programs, I run 3-day cold approach immersion programs. At the moment, I'm only able to offer one every 6 weeks because I've got another business which takes a lot of my time. So if you are interested, get in touch and we can talk. Cold approach is such a massive skill in the modern world. It explodes your options. I don't need to tell you that if you're on this channel. And you also get 90-day support with me. And frankly, a lot of the guys that I work with, I even support them beyond the 90 days anyway, because it's just like, I want you guys to succeed. I want everyone to succeed and to get what they want. And I want to build, I want my support, my service to be a greenhouse in which men can develop themselves. And you need a bit of guidance, shelter, protection in order to develop into something strong enough to really go out there and stand alone, and then you can develop the next generation as well. It's going to be this beautiful circle of life. So here I am outside this beautiful Gothic cathedral. Let me just walk ahead a little bit. You can see this. Santo Domingo, what a place. What a lovely place. Island life, my friends. Island life. It's hard to beat.